Yeah, what do we do? An hour?
Yeah, if you're cool with an hour, yeah, we'll see how it goes.
All right. I look like hell. I haven't had a haircut since '88, and I'm gay. So yeah, let's see what happens.
All right, man. If you've listened to this show at all, you've heard me recommend this guy probably an annoying amount. Mark Normand, one of my favorite comedians from Tuesdays with Stories and Out to Lunch. Right now, when you're done watching this podcast, go look up Out to Lunch on YouTube, and it's already. I don't need to tell you really because it's already getting up towards 1 million views. Isn't that right, Mark?
Oh yeah, we just hit 900. We got 100K to go, baby, and we got there. It's like a telethon. I have cancer. I'm gonna die. If you don't get to 1 million, I will die. Make a wish.
You heard the man, folks. Run out now. Out to lunch. That's gonna be pretty cool, though. I mean, I guess the cool thing about YouTube is you get to track how well it's doing. Like with Netflix, you have no fucking idea how many people are watching it.
Yeah, it's a kind of a trade-off. You get with YouTube, you get to do it all yourself. You get to put it up when you want. You get to see the numbers. You get to share it. You get to read the comments. And if you get on Netflix, you get rich. So it's a toss-up.
Do you think though people will start doing it this way? I know everyone gives Andrew Schultz credit for that kind of model, but now that you've kind of experienced it, do you think people are going to start going the YouTube route, or
I
is it going
think
to be?
so because I'm getting a lot of offers and calls and emails now. So like it helped. It's an I'm a cunt, but it's annoying that like it took this much. That's 4 years of blood, sweat, and tears into a special, and then putting it on YouTube. It sucks that that's the way to break in.
Yeah,
Netflix or these places should have the wherewithal. They call themselves comedy, networks.
right.
They should have the wherewithal to go, oh, this is a good special. Let's put it up. But I got no juice. I got no name. I'm a douche. So
Do you think it's because I notice a lot with Netflix in particular, they look for either a huge name or diversity. Like a lot of the lower
yeah.
level people, it's women or minorities, things like that. Is that why guys like you and Sam Morrill and Andrew Schultz are on YouTube instead?
Of course. I mean, that's a part of it. I don't want to sound like alt-right Johnson, but like it's we're a dime a dozen. There's a lot of skinny white guys because skinny white guys like get into comedy. It's like hockey,
Right.
like or serial killing, all those
Yes,
things.
exactly.
It's a bunch of white scrappy white guys, and it's not our fault we like it. We just like it, and it's not their fault that there's 1 million of us. But we have this weird thing now where like in the I the trying to put this gently without
I go
getting
for it.
sued. All right, in this weird world we're living in, you got to have this diversity,
Right.
which is great. I'm all for diversity, but it's not the way the cookie crumbles. Like
Right.
we got to have this many black guys. Yeah, yeah, all right, but why? Why do you need that? Just let it be what it is, and if and but they can't because they'll get in trouble. So
Which is
I
also
don't
weird
know.
too, because I think
Great.
there's a lot of like black guys in comedy that are not on Netflix that should be. You know, like they miss certain guys,
That's the
but
other
then the
thing.
guys they lift up are also. It's weird how they pick and
So now
choose.
you're putting up guys because of the color of their skin or because of their gender or their sexuality,
Right.
when that's even kind of offensive in its own right. Like there's a lot of funny black guys who I know who are killers and they can't get on. So I'm like, if you're gonna go diverse, at least put the good ones on, you queef. Why are you putting this douche on? This guy stinks, but he's black, and
Right.
that's all they see, which is now a different form of racism.
So here's another thing that's bothered me. So I listen to Tuesdays with Stories all the time. I think
Ah,
you and List are fucking hilarious. And well, actually, first before I get to this,
thank
I
you.
have a bone to pick with you. Mostly
Uh oh.
Joe, but you let this slide too often. So I
Oh
this is my
God.
chance finally.
Lay it
Why
on me,
does
Fatty.
why does Joe List fucking criticize the last 2 or 3 seasons of Seinfeld so much?
Oh, because Larry David left.
Yeah, but I think some of those episodes, I know they're ridiculous, but like the
Yeah.
Merv Griffin episode, like some of those episodes are the best episodes by far.
Well, the Merv Griff is an outlier. I'll give you that. But
Yeah,
they got real wacky. They got real quirky. And if you really dig deep, because we're a bunch of Seinfeld nerds, a lot of the continuity doesn't add up. Like at one point, Kramer gets lost. Kramer was the guy on the back of the fucking fire truck going, "You're going the wrong way. I know how to get to
that's true.
JFK in 20 minutes." and they screwed all that up. So like they were throwing these new plot points in, which didn't add up with the personality of the characters that we built over 7 years or 6 years. So that's a big part of the beef.
What's weird about that though is you see a lot of the things people complain about in the last couple seasons of Seinfeld, you almost see in Curb. Like there's a lot of continuity errors, or you have to suspend a lot of disbelief in Curb at times, which is strange
Yeah,
because Larry wasn't there at the end of Seinfeld.
that's a good point. That's a great point. Yeah. I mean, also Seinfeld had a writers' room full of gifted, like seasoned writers,
Yeah.
aka Jews, and Curb is just Larry. So it's gonna go off the rails a little bit,
Is
but
there
god damn is he funny.
Seinfeld or Curb? Which do you prefer?
Seinfeld is a superior package.
Yeah.
The show is a better package. It's more polished, but Curb has more edge, I think, and they're saying the N word, they're doing
Yeah,
eating
right.
pussy jokes and all that, but I think I might laugh. I don't know. I just love Larry so much.
I think I've laughed harder at Curb than any one episode of Seinfeld. Like the hardest I've laughed at Curb is probably harder than the hardest I've laughed at Seinfeld.
Yeah, yeah, and just the fact that it's riffed is most of it is so improvised
Right.
is mind blowing that he's that funny off the cuff.
Did you watch this season though with of Curb?
I did, yeah.
I didn't love it.
Not the best, not the
No, I
best.
thought it really fell off.
It felt like it was an impression of Curb, like, oh, this is what Curb is.
Yes.
It felt like an imitation almost, but there was moments. Again, there were moments.
Yeah, like that one episode they did in Hawaii or wherever they were. It almost felt like they did it just to go to Hawaii, which is like that's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
what Larry does. You like it was surprising.
Right, right. No, I agree.
But that's what I wanted to ask you is when I listen to your guys' podcast, what I think constantly is why hasn't anyone from Netflix or Hulu or wherever the fuck gone to these guys and said, hey, make a not a ripoff of Seinfeld, but your version of Seinfeld. Like I think that would be the show for you two to create. Has that ever
Well,
been brought
you're
to you or
living
anything?
you're living in a dream world where these
I
guys
know.
offer. We have no heat. I mean, look at
Yeah.
Schultz. The guy obviously is a talent. He gets more views on his YouTube show than Fallon does. I
Right.
mean, that's how clueless these guys are. And look, they've been offering me some stuff now, so I don't want to
They're not
shit
so
on them
bad.
too
Yeah.
much. But it's just like they don't know. You got to go convince them. It's like how you hear these old stories which are kind of rapey from like the 40s where they go, I'll tell you, old Gerald here, he hit on me 19 times and I said maybe, and then he kept
Right.
hitting on me, and then I finally said yes, and now he's the love of my life. And it's
Yeah.
like, well,
That's your
hey, you
grandfather.
dirty,
Yeah.
yeah, you dirty whore, you're an idiot. How about that? I get it. This guy was all over you, but you fucked up. You're lucky he was that persistent.
Right.
So it's kind of like that with Netflix. It's the beautiful lady you're trying to take to the dance, and you're going, no, we're made for each other, you idiot. We're soulmates, you cunt. Ah.
And then why like you referenced the networks. I've seen you a couple times live now and you were awesome, but I think the first I found your stand up was either Conan or the Tonight Show or something.
Uh-huh.
And they're great clips. Like it's great to have your stand up out there, but does that help? How does that help your career? Because now no
Nothing.
one
Not
watches
a lick.
fucking late night. Like, what does that do for you?
I'll tell you what it was. That was me just trying to have a fucking toe in the showbiz pool. Like
Right.
all my friends are getting these network deals and SNL, and like I came up with Michael Che, I came up with Dan Soder, Michelle Wolf. These are all just huge stars now, and a couple of us are left in the dirt. But what was the question? Sorry, I
Why
completely.
people do late night?
That was me just going, well, it's TV. Hey, I can write a joke. I'll put 5 minutes together. Hey, I'm shaking Conan's hand. Hey, I'm shaking Fallon's hand. Hey, I'm
Yeah.
in LA. I'm on a flight. So that was just some way to stay in the biz and relevant because I had no other options. And I do like it. I like the art of it. I like the
Yeah.
putting the set together. It's a tightrope. If you flub one word, that's ironic. I just flubbed the word flub. If you flub one word, your whole thing's ruined. So it was kind of a thrill, and you get this nice clip that's
Right.
on YouTube. So people go, oh, this guy's been on TV. He's somewhat legit. And so I did it for a lot of reasons. And Seinfeld, who I opened for,
Right. Your boy
Hero,
now.
he saw the Tonight Show that I did, and I killed, and then he had me open for him. So shit does come from it, but it's pretty rare, few and far between.
Right. So is that how Seinfeld knew you?
That's the first time you heard of me. Yeah.
Wow. How's that relationship going?
It's fizzling out. I got to tell
Oh,
you.
really? Did
Well,
you
I'm
see his
too
new
scared.
special? Is that why?
I don't want to bother the guy, so I don't text him. And my friend's like, "What's Seinfeld say about that?" I'm like, "I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
We're not the." I wished him a happy birthday, and that was a week ago. And he wrote back and said, "How the hell are you?" I said, "Great." He said, "I can't wait to get back on the road." Then I'm sitting there going, "Does that mean I can't wait to get back on the road with you, or does that mean I can't
Right.
wait to get back on the road in general, or how did he say, thank you for coming?" Remember that episode?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
so
I didn't think you'd show.
yes, that's the line. So yeah, I also wrote HBD, which I'm sure he's got 8 minutes on.
Yeah, yeah, right. That's gonna be bothersome to a guy like him.
Exactly.
I mean, no offense, but that's
No,
probably why
no.
it's fizzling out.
Yeah, yeah. But
That's what you
my
got to hit up, though, Mark. That when you say like, "Hey, no one's gonna come to me with this show idea," you gotta say, hit up old Jared Dog, Seinfeld
ah,
person. No,
uh, look, I
that's what
know the
Colin
guy.
Quinn's done. Every show, Colin Quinn, executive produced by Jerry Seinfeld.
They're like the same age. They're
Right.
tighter. They started in the '80s or the '70s. Like they go way back. I'm just some dweeb who's like, I'm a fan. I'm like shaking like a leaf around him, or shaking
Right.
like Michael J. Fox. We got to update that.
Um,
Muhammad Ali
uh,
as well. Diversity.
you also opened for Schumer. Is that
Yeah,
relationship still you guys tight?
yeah. We're cool. I mean, it's tough to be tight anymore now, but she's
Right.
got a kid now. She's up in the ivory tower on the Upper West Side, and
Right.
as a zillionaire, and yeah, we did the road together for years. She was a huge help in my career and gave me such a launching pad and taught me a ton. And she's smart person and a hell of a businesswoman. But I texted her the other day because I'm trying to find some new agent
Mhm.
in all this quarantine shit. So she's always got advice. She's always helpful, and it's a shame so many people hate her because she's the coolest people and a great hang.
So I was going to ask a couple things with that is a why do you think people hate her so much? Because she gets a lot of shit. Some of it justified, some of it not.
Yeah,
But also, do people? Is it weird for you? Because I think a lot of people's instinct is to say, "Oh, you know Amy Schumer, let me shit on her to you, and we can bond over that or something."
yeah,
But
yeah.
you're a friend,
Yeah, I get a lot of that. But I know her. They don't know her. They just know her as the caricature on
right?
stage, and then the joke stealing threats came in, so that doesn't help. And then she's a lady, and that makes it weird. So there's a lot of there was quite a gumbo of hate going
Yeah, the
around.
political stuff with her too, I think, annoyed a lot
Yeah,
of people.
yeah.
Probably,
The political stuff was weird, and but when you talk to her, you're like, oh, she's fun and irreverent and dark. And I think a lot of that political stuff, I think people just they grow up, like even Jeselnik, you watch
yeah,
his later stuff and it's still dead babies, don't get me wrong, but
right.
it's like he won't make a joke about black people.
Yeah, and there's something too when you get as famous as Amy Schumer. I feel like there's a lot of pressure to be. She got famous
Right.
so fast, so there's people
Right.
just telling her, "Well, now you're a little." I mean, I assume you came up with her in comedy. I'm guessing.
Nah, she's
No.
ahead of me.
So I wonder if she was ever like if she was always that, but kind of kept it to herself, or if Hollywood kind of forced some of these opinions on her.
Yeah, yeah, there's that. And then I think there's now that I'm a success, I'm a star, and I have a ton of money, I can actually step back and look around at the world and maybe help somebody, or have a platform to save some shit or help the whales or whatever the fuck. So I don't have that luxury yet because I'm still trying to pay my rent. And so maybe one day I'll be that way. But I just think the essence of comedy is to be a little bit irreverent.
Right.
Even Seinfeld, who talks about Pop Tarts, he's pissed. He's pissed
Right.
about those Pop Tarts. So that I think, like, Richard Pryor, George Carlin, they all dug deep and go against the grain. And I think that's a big part of comedy. So I don't think I'll ever go that route. But a lot of people are so dumb that they just assume, like, oh, you said a joke about Jews. What are you, anti-Semitic? I'm like,
Right.
no, I'm making a joke. If I was anti-Semitic, I would have never made the joke because I'd be hiding the fact that I was
Yeah. Right. Or you'd
anti-Semitic.
be writing fucking your death threats to them or something like.
Yeah, and it goes the other way, by the way. If somebody's on stage preaching about how bad racism is, they could go home and kill a Puerto Rican. You
Right.
know,
Right.
the guy you are on stage is not who you are in life. A dark joke doesn't mean you're a bad person, and a
Right.
good joke doesn't mean you're a good person.
Does that so you like? I mean, the amount of talking you have to do on podcasts and shit like that. Have you gotten into trouble having these well-known people that you're associated with? Because I feel like you're a very honest guy. I've heard you say some shit about Seinfeld where I'm like, oh, I'm so kind of surprised he was being honest about that, about like his
Right,
act
right.
or whatever. Has that
Yeah.
gotten you into trouble at all?
Not yet. It will, but again,
All right,
if you
start
got
shitting on some people, then we'll do it here.
if you got nothing to take away, like my friend wrote me, he's like, "Oh, you did some trans jokes on your special. Did you get in trouble?" I'm like, "It's a YouTube special. What are you gonna take that away? It's free."
That's
Like
true. Yeah.
I'm at the bottom already. It's all about punching up. You can't punch more down than a guy with a YouTube special. Like
Right.
that's why you can tell these people are so full of shit. These cancel people because they just want to take your shit. They don't actually
Yeah.
care about justice.
Do you think it's gone a little bit the other way though? I had Shane
Yeah.
Gillis on a few weeks ago,
Uh-huh.
and I think Shane came on because I defended him so much when he was going through all that shit with SNL.
Oh,
But he asked
good.
me, he's like, ah, so you are you one of these free speech guys? And I could tell the way he said it. It's like now there's almost a stigma to that, where it's
Right.
gone too far the other way, where there's people that's taking a political ideology, where now it's people defending Trump that are for free speech and all this shit, where it shouldn't be that way.
It's all very silly. It just keeps changing. Like in the 60s, the left was all like free speech, free love. We got to open minded. And now it's completely shifted where the right's like, say any joke you want. And the left's like, hey, don't joke like that. And you can't say whatever you want. And you're like, so what are we doing here? All these weird labels and rules. Like, just say whatever the fuck you want. Be a nice person. Don't hurt anybody. And have some common sense. Everything
Right.
is so paint by numbers now. Hey, you like guns? But you don't. But you like abortions? I can't wrap my head around brain malfunction. Like
Right.
people are complex. You can have. I've paid for many abortions, but I also want to keep my money. Like can't we have some differences? Why do we have to all be? Colin Quinn said it best. We got 63 genders, but two political parties. That
Right.
should be the other way around.
And Colin Quinn's a perfect example because when you look at his last special, it was on CNN, which should tell you that it's
Right.
it's pretty insightful. But it's the weirdest thing with Colin, where he's this brilliant guy who should be like when you talk about the legends in comedy. At least in my mind, Colin Quinn is up there,
I
but
agree.
I think it's because you can't put him into a political party or you can't put him in a category that
Yeah.
that he hasn't been thrown out of society, but he's also not hugely famous the way he should be.
I completely agree. Well, he's also too smart for most people. He's also a kind of a mush
Right.
mouthy weirdo, and hey, it's McDonald's does the best. It's
Sure. Yeah.
he's a fine cuisine, and
Yeah.
so that just he's got his people, he's got his fans, and he's got a legend status, I think, amongst comedy fans. I hope, but he's not wearing cool sneakers and a leather jacket, and he's not smoking hot or whatever. So
Right.
I think that's just how that goes. That's the business in general.
I think they've tried to come after this guy a couple times, but maybe now that do you see what Rogan made from Spotify yesterday?
Yeah, yeah. He's another example of like the sweetest, nicest guy, and he gets labeled this devil guy, like right wing nut
Yeah, because he has
guy. I'm
Alex
like,
Jones on, and he has
yeah.
people that you're
To
not
me,
supposed to allow on. I guess.
that's the most open-minded. He's hearing different voices. He's discussing with people who are not exactly like him. He also had Bernie Sanders on, but nobody
Right.
goes, "Oh my God, this fucking libtard! How come it never goes the other way?" You
Yeah.
know?
Well, they used that against him too. They took a clip of him saying he was going to vote for Bernie, and said that it was propaganda or something. Like used it against
Yeah.
like I think the Biden campaign used it against him or something. I'm
I
moron with
don't
that
get
shit.
it. Obviously people like the guy. He's got 7 trillion downloads a minute. Like go easy on him. He's got Elon Musk on. We're learning. I'm getting more off an Elon Musk interview than I
Yeah.
would ever get it from Fallon or any of these fucktards. Like let the guy do his job. He's doing a good job. It's just when people are successful, everybody wants to take you down, and he's like the podcast king. So
Yeah.
people are like, we gotta denounce him. Why? Because he has one different opinion than you and a shaved head and muscles.
Right.
Fuck
Well, actually, I
you.
was listening to you on Rogan recently, and
Yeah.
I think Joe kind of brought that up. He goes, "Yeah, it's easy to paint me as a douchebag, so
Right.
they take advantage of that." But he's
I love how they say, don't, you shouldn't profile. All they do is profile. Oh, he's a
yeah,
white guy. He's a male. He's buff. He's got a shaved head. He's got tattoos. He likes MMA. Like, yeah, he also likes psychedelics, weed, mushrooms, fucking coffee, you
Yeah,
know,
archery.
art. Yeah, exactly. So like, he loves his dog. He's got 2 kids, a nice wife. Lay off the guy. For
he's got
people
to
who,
have he's
who-
got to have the strangest career though, because you would I
yeah,
think if you go by what people like how people know Joe Rogan, it would be podcasting, MMA, Fear Factor, news radio, stand up.
comedy,
But
weed,
I think
yeah,
yeah, but I think he would define himself as a stand up probably, right?
yeah, yeah.
Which is
Well,
it's the strangest because he's a great stand up. He has a couple great Netflix
yeah,
special, but that's probably like the fifth thing on his list on his resume.
I know, I know. I mean, it's all very kooky. I had a point and I forgot it, but yeah, it's.
It's all good. I've
Oh,
done that like six
for
times.
for these people who are inclusive, they claim to be so inclusive, they're very quick to throw people out, aren't they? I mean, they're very quick to be like, "You're
Oh yeah.
different than me. Get out of here." You and they don't just want to turn you off. They want you to end. They want you to go away and stop existing, which is very scary.
Yeah, and it's always it's so funny to hear comedians painted the way they are because I think the reason most people are drawn to comedy is because they're awkward weirdos. Like that's why I'm such a
Right.
comedy fan because I listen to Joe List's like mental health podcast
Oh yeah.
because I'm an awkward weirdo and I can relate to a lot of that shit. And it's like you're talking about these guys like they set out to make these these deep racial points, right? It's
Yeah.
like they want to tell jokes. They want to relate to people
Yeah.
through fucking jokes.
We're goofballs who are trying not to have a cubicle gig, and we're generally nice guys. We're mostly lefties, and we just want to not get yelled at. That's our whole thing. And you know what it is? People get so mad at us because we tell the truth.
Right.
You know, people go, "Big is beautiful," and you go, "Well, why aren't you fucking 300 pounds then? Wouldn't you
Right.
just gain weight?" And they go, "Hey, fuck you, shut up, you pig, you fucking and it's fat shamer." You're like, "Oh wait, why are you yelling at me? I'm just going off what you said," you know, like, and we just do that all day. We go back and forth, and we get nothing done.
Do you worry? I know it sounds, at least it sounds on the, I don't know if it's just for the podcast, but like Joe List talks a lot about you guys getting in trouble. Like once you get big, people will comb
Yeah,
through your podcast.
it's
Do you
coming.
worry about that at all? Or do you think you've kind of
I worry
created
about
your
it.
own audience?
I worry about it, but it's we have created our own audience, which is great. I think that's the key
Right.
now. Look at Ari Shafir. The guy's
Right.
people come after him with fucking torches, and he's doing fine, you
Yeah.
know. But I don't know why we're both wearing sunglasses, but I saw you do it, so I'm doing it.
I'm blind, Mark.
No,
Yeah. Well, legally blind. I don't need these.
really?
technically, But yeah, I just kind of do it for the, yeah.
So is this offensive that I'm wearing them?
Not even remotely. I enjoy it.
Because in a way, I'm culturally appropriating the blind.
I appreciate it. You're adapting to the show you're on. And I
All
appreciate
right,
it.
I didn't know you were actually blind. I thought that was just a cool name.
Yeah, very cool, Mark. No, it's nothing cooler than a blind guy going through going
Well, you
through
could be
life.
a jazz musician. That'd be pretty badass.
That's true. Although I'm not talented at all. I got none of the perks.
Can you hear really well? You know, you always hear the blind guys jizzing on
Yeah,
their
it's
ears.
kind of a so what that means is basically like blind guys focus on their hearing more.
Yeah, Daredevil.
It's all just bullshit. We got nothing going for us.
What about Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles,
Yeah.
Daredevil?
They got it good. I don't know.
All right.
I'm a dud. I'm a fucking dud genetically. Maybe because I can see a little bit. That's why I'm no good.
That's what it is. You got a little
Yeah.
bit. You got
Yeah,
fucked.
right. I sure did.
I forgot the
Um,
question.
I don't remember. Fucking Tuesdays with Stories.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Are we worried? Of
Yes.
course.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I remember my friend went to prison, and he was a drug dealer when we were in high school. And he went to prison, and he would call us every day, collect. Remember, you know, you get your call,
Mhm.
and he would call us and be like, "I'm so scared. I'm gonna get beat up. These guys want to kill me." Or no, he would always be like, "I just want to get out. Please help me get out. Get the bail money together." And we'd all be like, "We were trying to be good friends," so we'd listen to him. And I said, "Are you scared of getting raped?" And he goes, "I'll deal with that when it comes."
And what? The funny thing is, I don't remember how that answers my question. But are you there? Ah, shit.
A few moments later.
That's weird. My wife, everything was normal. And my Wi-Fi just crapped out, and I restarted it, and it just wouldn't come back to life.
Oh, good. Has that been? Have you guys had problems podcasting or anything yet?
No, that's pretty rare. I think it just went out in the neighborhood. Like,
Yeah.
the whole Wi-Fi is down in this area, I think.
It's a strange podcasting world we're living in, where we're all doing it separately. But I like now. I think every I had to purposely stay away from talking to you about it because now every podcast is. Isn't it crazy that we're doing this over Zoom and it's cutting
I
out?
know.
And...
I appreciate you not bringing it up, but I remember where we left off. If you want to try to pick it back
Oh yeah,
up.
go for it. Yeah.
All right. So I don't know how much you heard of the raping in
Most
prison.
of it.
Okay. All right. So I said, "Are you scared of getting raped?" He said, "I'll deal with that when it comes."
Right.
And I was like, "Well, how are you not scared of that?" And he's like, "Well, when it happens, I'll be nervous, but I'm just trying to not die or now I'm just trying to get out of here." And that's how I feel about getting canceled. When it comes, I'll worry about it. But right now, I'm just trying to figure out how to make it.
Yeah.
That was my point.
That is a smart. I meant to mention earlier. I had Greg Stone, Anthony DeVito, and Brendan Ayer on before you came on.
Oh, good guys, funny guy, all funny.
Hilarious.
Guys.
They just pretty much took over the podcast. I was barely here. But Greg Stone, based on the rest of the podcast, I'm assuming this was bullshit. But Greg Stone told me to ask you. He said Mark Normand is blatantly violating coronavirus protocol. Is there any truth to that at all?
I'm doing it right now. Yeah, I do it every day. I've been traveling. I've gotten a few Airbnbs. I went to Cape Cod. I went to upstate New York. I rented a car.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a mess. I'm living it up. I can't be trapped. I'm a caged bird. I need to fly. I need to dance. I need to spread my wings and blow a guy. Sorry, I saw a hot lady.
Is that so another thing of yours that's gotten very popular is your when you appear on like local news and shit, because you talk like that. Is that naturally how you speak, or have you kind of developed that as like a trait?
I think it was naturally how I spoke with my friends.
Yeah.
And then I toned it down in front of adults and teachers and police and TV, and now I just can't do it anymore.
Right.
Like, fuck it. So
it's very funny to hear like those, local news anchors deal with you going, a little hungover, a little gay,
Right. Well, those fucking people are so phony and weird and stiff. I can't handle it. I'm like, I can't be I know this is your job and you're trying to say, have your career here, but I can't talk like this. I'm sorry.
Have you had to do a lot of like morning radio and shit where Mark, I see you've been using Uber a lot lately, where they like try to get you to do your act?
A little bit, but I've just given up. I'm like, I'm just going to steer this thing because I can't tell you my process anymore, or I can't let you set me up for a dumb joke about dog food. So I gotta just talk like I talk, and it's going pretty well. But I'm doing less of them because I'm selling some tickets for the first time in my goddamn life.
That's
good. I was before this bullshit happened, but yeah.
So what do you think? How is this all gonna play out? Because like Brendan Ayer said, he had some gigs coming up in June that aren't technically canceled yet. I think they were in like Arkansas or something. So are places gonna start opening up, and what do you think that'll be like? Like, it seems like it's gonna be very strange.
It's gonna be strange. It's gonna be like 9/11. Like when 9/11 happened, everybody's like, "Fuck that! I'm never flying again."
Right.
What are you, crazy, Bin Laden? If I see an Arab at the airport, I'm gonna stab him with a pencil or whatever. But I think it's gonna be like that. Like eventually, people will start flying again, and little things will change. Like now, you have to take your shoes off. Now you can't have liquids. So that's what this is gonna be like. Eventually, it's gonna be weird to go to a comedy club or a rock concert or whatever. But then it'll get more normal. But there'll be different rules where you can't jizz on a guy's taco or cough on a lady's snatch or
and really, those should have been in place already. Like why weren't those already rules?
Depending on the concert, I agree.
What? But how is New York during coronavirus? Because Greg was saying that there's ambulance. Like it's genuinely bad. I thought I'm in Boston. It's not quite as bad as New York, obviously. Yeah. But my thought on it is, well, no one I know has it. No one I know knows anyone that has it. So I'm not gonna fucking get it. But I guess in New York it's a lot worse.
I think the news is a big cum guzzling Nazi. I think they're just pumping it up. And New York's. I mean, I live in the West Village. Greg lives in Queens, so he's right by the hospital.
Oh, okay.
So I think I live in like a cute little douchey neighborhood, with a bunch of old ladies and gays, and we're all out here drinking and chatting and playing music, and people are jogging every day, and the sun is shining. So I think it's good. Morale is good here.
Yeah, I honestly believe that if like Twitter didn't exist, we would probably be it would be business as usual, more or less.
Completely,
There'd
right?
be a
Now,
few
New
less old
York,
people, but
yeah. Well, they're going. They're on the way out. But New York right now is just a less busy version of itself. No one has anything to do, but they still want to get out of their tiny apartment. So people are just strolling. It's more small towny now.
how's you're quarantined with the lady, I assume, your girlfriend?
Yeah. She's put on a few lbs, and
That's what
we're
I hear.
making it work.
I listen to you on Jim and Sam sometimes. I don't know if that's exaggerated or not, but
Yeah, last week the rascal got stuck in the door jam, but we're making it work. No, I'm kidding. She's a hot lady. We're boning. Right. We're living the dream and having a good time. And it gets tense because it's a small apartment, but we have our ways.
Right.
You adapt.
Does the podcast bother her at all, or is she kind of used to it? You tell a lot of stories on there. I heard you telling a story where some asshole came up to you and was talking about other girls you've been with. So does that get to her at all?
God, that kid! No, I still want to strangle that kid.
What was that story? You can tell it here if you want.
Basically, we did some gigs in China, and the lady said, "Hey, I want to go to China." I said, "Oh,
Right.
Come with me. We'll go see the Great Wall and anal and all this." So we got to China, and this Tuesday, this fan of my pod is like, "Oh man, I heard about that time you fingered the black chick on the Ferris wheel, and the time you blew the Cuban guy in the mall." And I'm like,
right.
"Shut up!" She's standing right next to me, and he's like, "Who's this?" I'm like, "This is my current girlfriend." He's like, "Is she okay with all?" And I'm like, "Shut the fuck up, you fucking idiot!" And I'm trying to like not strangle this guy in front of her, and now she's pissed. So now I got on one side, I got this dweeb with fucking zits and freckles talking about my love life, and then I got an angry whore on the right. So it was a topsy-turvy situation.
Has she gotten used to that at all, though? Like that?
No. I just try not to bring it up, and hopefully she forgets about it.
Yeah, it's best to just bottle it deep down and pretend it doesn't exist,
Yeah. It's like a dog. He wants that tennis ball, but if you put it in the drawer, eventually he forgets about it.
All right, Mark. Everyone should watch Out to Lunch. I appreciate you taking some time out. I know it was kind of a pain in the ass.
That's it?
Yeah, I guess. Well, no, we can keep going if you want.
Well, give me 10 more. I feel like I let you down with the Wi-Fi.
Oh, not at all. I was worried you had to get, because I know you had the time at the beginning and then this and that.
Well, I had to push it back, so I appreciate that, because I'm looking for a new agent because mine got fired. I don't want to say too much. And this pandemic, man, it's getting ugly. But mine got fired.
Meaning you fired your agent?
No, the agency fired my agent. So
interesting.
On funds.
Sounds juicy.
So I'm looking for a new agent, and I have to do these dumb Zoom calls where they go, "Here's why you should be with us," and then they tell me what they're going to get me, and they're like, "It's a shame you had to put your shit on YouTube," and I go, "Yeah, suck my ass."
Well, it's probably the right time for that, though, right? Because now you're popping a little bit with this special coming out, so people are probably looking to sign you.
Definitely. So the special did help. It's just a bummer that me and guys like Sam Morrill had to waste that hour on. Yeah. I mean, no offense to YouTube, they're the ones who had us,
right?
But that should be out there. That deserves.
But do you think it is a waste though? Like Sam had 2.5 million or something. You're getting towards 1 million in a week, whatever it is. Would that many? I mean, would that many more people watch it if it was on Netflix? Because you still have to you still have to find it and watch it.
Sure, but it's not about that. It's about the respect. It's about the caliber of comedy we're putting out. I mean, I had like over 300 punchlines in this thing, and Jeff Garland gets a fucking special. Who the hell is he? He's not even a comic. And Jenny Slate and all these people who, I'm sure they're nice, good eggs, but these aren't fucking passionate, blood, sweat, and tear road dog comics. We're out there at the Funny Bones getting our ass kicked by some redneck who's bitching about a Trump joke or whatever the fuck it is, or some soccer mom who says I can't make fun of God. We're doing the Lord's work out there.
Does that bother you? Like I see guys like Steve-O getting work at comedy clubs, and who's the Stormy Daniels was here. Like I saw you at Laugh Boston. Stormy Daniels was here not that long before you.
Oh god, yeah. See that, and that just hurts the legitimacy of the art form. Like people go stand up, fuck that. That's why it hurt to not get on the Netflix or the HBOs, because of the amount of work we put into it and how much we care about stand up is just as a job. And I don't know.
But then isn't there something too, like, hey, if people are paying to see Stormy Daniels, what's the difference? You know, like, is there too much? Because I hear a lot of comedians complain about that, but do you think you guys think too much about it a little bit?
Yeah, of course we think too much. I mean, everything's like that. I'm sure some Michelin. What the hell? I'm sure some Michelin chef was like, "Can you believe so many people like the fucking Double Down?" You know,
Right.
what was that thing? That burger? You know,
I think you got it right. The Double Down or the double? Yeah, I think that's what it is.
He's like, I'm slaving over these creative recipes, and everybody likes the McGriddle. What the shit? So I think that's just everything, and they bitch and we bitch.
Well, that's what I like. So what I really love about your special is it's just jokes, and it's just you're not making a political statement. I mean, I guess you are in your own way, but it's not beating you over the head with your message. And then, so I wonder,
no message.
I wonder what a guy like you thinks about a guy who I'm a big fan of, Gary Gulman. But when he does his depression special, it's not like a political message, but I thought it was a strange look at him. People loved it, but as like a fan of his, I was kind of like, I'd rather you talk about the state abbreviations and shit like that, you know?
Sure. That's his bread and butter. He's one of the best writers out there, I think. But that I don't want to say it, and I don't want to speak out of school because I'm such a huge fan of his, and he's a hero of mine. But I think sometimes it takes a theme now to get shit made.
Yeah.
You know, so I think he was maybe said, like, here's my package deal idea. Like, I'm going to do a whole depression thing. And they were like, we love it. But if he was like, here's a bunch of jokes, they'd be like, we can get that from anybody.
But then they throw a weird one at you. Like, they just give Dan Soder a special where it's just jokes. He's a white guy. It's like, why are they doing this?
That's a tip to the agent. That's
good.
You got a good agent over here. Well done, sir. Because he's a funny guy, and he's done an hour before, and he's done a half hour, and he did it right and did the road and paid his dues, and he should have an hour.
Yeah.
And Gulman he already has a new hour of killer material, and that will be on something soon, I bet.
Oh, good. Yeah, because I am a big Gary Gulman fan, but I'm watching that. I'm like, well, I don't know if I needed this angle from it. But then then it's like, fuck me. It's like he's not just some clown that's here to amuse me. Like, this is his message, so he wanted to get it out there.
Yeah. I mean, he should be able to do what he wants. He's earned that. But he will have a special of just jokes. And I've already seen the hour, and it's fucking lights out.
Yeah.
Killer, and he's underrated.
This might be kind of a cheesy question, but I'm actually interested in particular your perspective on it, because you seem like a guy who would have fit in the old, you know, the Real Comedy Cellar and Tough Crowd, those kind of days. Mm-hmm. How has comedy evolved since you started? Like, how have you seen it change? I know with the political correctness stuff, but not even just that. Like, in general, how has it changed since you started?
I think the biggest shift is the internet, you know, just like the social media aspect. You got YouTube guys selling out theaters and influencers selling out everything, and they can't even write a joke to save their life. So that part is totally weird. And just it's gotten more inclusive for sure. Like, can you imagine some of these comics now sitting down at the table with Patrice and how much he would just fucking annihilate them? And I'm not saying I don't want him in. I'm just saying it's definitely opened up. It's good it's opened up. We get like Dimitri Martin back in the day was like, what the fuck's this weirdo doing? He's not a comic, even though he's a great comic. So I think there's some pros and cons to it. You know, it's good to open the doors a little bit, but you don't want to open them too much where a bunch of hacks come in or a bunch of fake comics come in just because they think they got molested and now we have to hear about that. That doesn't make you a good comic, you know?
Yeah. It is funny to hear, like, because I was a guy who loved Patrice and everything, and I'll talk about that. I'm like, you know, these pussies couldn't handle a guy like Patrice. And then I think about it and I'm like, well, I wouldn't be able to handle that. Like, Patrice would fucking destroy me and send me crying to my room.
Yeah, he was a scary guy. I didn't know him really, but I was terrified of him.
Yeah.
But that was part of it.
It's so much different now. Like, even the guys who are known for busting balls and being pure comics now, they're probably more sensitive than they were 15 years ago. So I think it's just kind of something that changes naturally almost.
Yes. I think it should be like sports. I don't care what you look like or sound like or color, race. It just, if you're good at it and you're making points and you're helping the team, I think you should be working. But that's the problem with stand-up is it's so subjective that you get some dweeb crying into a microphone and you go, well, this is kind of art. It looks like he's standing up there. There's a stool. There's an audience.
Yeah.
He's got a water bottle. This is stand-up. Like, no, this is Nanette.
Well, have you seen she's got a new hour coming out, or it might be out now?
I heard.
That looks. I guess you're getting the the pure comic now. I think it's just her jokes, and it looks pretty
really?
rough. Oh yeah.
I can't wait. Like, look.
Oh yeah.
She can
a
do
few knock
whatever she
jokes,
wants.
I'm sure, are in there. Yeah, it looks pretty rough.
Yeah, she can do whatever she wants, but like, let's not call it funny, or let's not call it comedy.
Yeah. You know what my problem with someone like her is like, even call it comedy if you want. Like, if that's what comedy is to you, great. My problem with her is she came out and said, like, you know, Kevin Hart shouldn't be able to do comedy because he doesn't have a message. And it's like, well, first of all, he's selling out arenas.
Yeah.
And who the fuck are you to say what's comedy? Why can you say it and Kevin Hart can't?
Yeah, what a horrible message. That's your message? Jesus, that stinks. Sorry. Hey, this is my
Just a fan.
yeah. There's a random lady here just popping in. Oh,
Are you getting
hello.
recognized a lot, Mark? Is that happening?
Oh
now?
yeah. Oh, I got it twice
man.
today.
Look at you.
Hey. All right, I gotta go now.
All right.
So, yeah.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we were about to leave.
She can come on the
anyway.
podcast if she wants. We'll talk to her.
Maybe later.
Shit. I just had a train of thought. Oh, do you know we've met before, by the way?
No, I didn't know we met.
At
Who is that?
Skank. That's how I got your email
Podcast.
originally.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Who is this woman?
This is girlfriend.
Oh, I thought you were genuinely. I'm a fucking moron. I thought you actually got
believed the
recognized.
fan thing.
Oh, that's funny.
Hello, girlfriend.
Hey, he says hi.
Oh, she
All right,
can't
I'll
hear
meet you
me.
inside. I think I'm giving away my address here.
Probably.
All right, sorry. What were you saying?
It's all good. That's how I got your email. I'm surprised you weren't more suspicious about that.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't care. Everybody's got my email. Everybody's got my address. Everybody's got my dick size.
Actually, it was very funny because I took down, like, I talked to you at Skankfest. I'd actually talked to you about something I was trying to get done at Barstool involving stand-up.
Uh-huh.
And then, like, 3 days later, Francis got fired.
Oh!
So I was like, well, I guess that's
right.
not going to happen for a while.
Yeah. Wow. Poor guy, huh? But
Yeah.
he's doing stuff, right?
He's
running
doing all right.
around.
I haven't heard much from him since he left, but I guess he's doing all right, right?
Yeah. I think I texted him. I'm going to do his podcast, I think.
Yeah, he seems like a decent guy. All right, Mark. It seems like there's fucking chaos going on behind you, but I appreciate you coming on, man.
See, New York's alive and well.
That is good to hear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look like such a fucking moron now. I'm like, oh, that's a fan. You're getting recognized. It's your fucking girlfriend. I'm like, hello, ma'am.
Well, in my defense, I did a agent call earlier, and a fan
That's true.
walked up, and it looked super cool because these guys are trying to rep me, and I was like, oh, sorry, fans are bugging me.
See you big time now. Out to lunch. 1 million views. We're gonna get way past that by the time this is out.
You better believe it.
All right, man.
The
Hey,
pandemic.
next time you're in Boston, let's hopefully you can be in Boston at some point
Yeah,
soon. We'll
yeah.
do this in studio.
It'd be nice.
All right, brother.
All right, man. Take it easy. Thanks. Sorry, that was awkward and weird. I'm gay. Praise Allah.
I love you, man. Thank you.
All right, take it easy. Bye.
See you, Mark.